It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 9th day of September, 2021. I'm Chillie Falls coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia. It's in Central Virginia, right outside of Lynchburg. Thursday Travel and Cruise Industry News. Bermuda radar shows rainbands from Larry approaching. Heavy rainfall from Mindy spreading across southeastern Georgia and coastal South Carolina. Olaf expected to become a hurricane later today. Carnival Cruise Line updates its casino protocols. Holland America schedule updates. MSC finally replies. And lots more on this broadcast. It is a tape, folks, instead of my usual live at 11, because as this is being played, released at 11 o'clock, I'm in the pulmonologist office. So we got to deal with a doctor today and oxygen talks. So before we get to the news, I want to plug my buddies down in Yorktown. You know, we've been talking about the Oyster Fest. Interviewed Steve earlier in the week, and here's what he had to say about it. My guest this morning on Chillie Chats is my good friend. He's president of Waterman's Museum down in Yorktown, Steve Ormsby. Steve, welcome to Chillie Chats.
Well, thank you, Chillie. It's good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you again. All right, you got a big event coming up Saturday. One of my favorite events of the year. Tell us about it.
Our annual oyster roast. We're going to be serving all-you-can-eat oysters from the York River and Mobjack Bay, starting at 12 o'clock on September 11th, Saturday. So we'll start at 12 o'clock and serve till 3. Okay. We've got tickets available. You can get a $5 discount if you buy them early. At the gate, for oyster lovers, it's all you can eat is $40. And for the folks that don't want oysters, all you can eat would be $30. We're going to have, in addition to oysters, we're going to have homemade clam chowder, and it'll be gluten-free because we use mashed potatoes instead of flour for a thickener. And it's also going to have bacon in it if you'd like bacon. So there's 2 options there. We'll have hot dogs and we'll have sides from Carrot Tree Kitchen. So great desserts and great sides from them. So I hope you can all join us. Come on down to 309 Water Street in Yorktown.
Right under. If you've never been there, folks, it's right under the drawbridge. You can't miss it. How big a crowd are you expecting? I know this is a fundraiser for you guys.
Yes, it is.
How many people do you usually get?
It's ranged depending on, pre-COVID years, it would get up to 150 folks. We're hoping to get at least 80 to 100 this time. So.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Steve, thank you for this. We'll see if we can't send you some folks down off my show. Sounds
great. Let me give you a little contact data. Our phone number is 757-887-2641. And our email is admin, A-D-M-I-N, at watermens, watermens.org, admin at watermens.org.
That's fabulous. And good luck this weekend. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Chillie. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Okay. That was Steve Ormsby from Waterman's Museum down in Yorktown. Hopefully they get breaking the weather this weekend and they'll have a good, successful event. That's 12 to 3 if you're out and about on Saturday. And like oysters as much as I do, I'd go. I wish I could. All right, let's get to the weather. Hurricane Larry. Hurricane and tropical storm watches are in effect for southeastern Newfoundland and Bermuda. Last time I had some readings was 5 o'clock Atlantic Central Time. No, Atlantic Summer Time, excuse me. The center of Hurricane Larry was located 240 miles east-southeast of Bermuda. It's probably moved down now close to 200 miles east-southeast of Bermuda, moving toward the north-northwest. It's starting to turn to the north. It's moving about 16 miles an hour. I'm thinking it's about as close, the center at least is about as close to Bermuda as it's going to get. But it's still a big storm. Moving off at 16 miles an hour, it's going to turn directly to the north and probably increase speed with a faster northeastward motion expected tomorrow. The center of Larry should pass east of Bermuda through the day today and move near or over southeastern Newfoundland Friday night or early Saturday morning. Maximum winds are down to about 100, so it's category 2 hurricane now. It was category 3 there for a couple days. Gradual weakening is forecast during the next couple of days. Larry's expected to remain a hurricane until at least possibly Saturday. Larry should become an extratropical cyclone early Saturday after passing by Newfoundland, then weaken further while it passes southeast of Greenland on Sunday. It's expected to be absorbed by a larger system east of Greenland on Monday. Larry still is an extremely large system with hurricane force winds extending outward for 90 miles from the center and tropical storm force winds extending outward 220 miles from the center. The estimated pressure is 969 millibars. And folks, it's already doing some wreaking havoc with the surf as far away as the outer banks of North Carolina. And all up and down the East Coast, you're going to have a lot of storm surge and heavy surf and riptides from this system all weekend. So watch out for the red flag warnings up and down the East Coast of the United States. And that's all from Hurricane Larry, even though it's nowhere near United States landfall. All right, as of 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time this morning, the center of Tropical Storm Mindy was located near Savannah. The depression is moving toward the northeast at 20 miles an hour. General motion is expected to continue today. I kind of missed this one, folks. I said it was going to probably have landfall around the Big Bend of Florida. It actually was considerably to the west of that as it came in somewhere in the Panama City area. It's crossing over a larger chunk of land heading toward the Atlantic than I was looking at yesterday. It looks like it's probably going to weaken and not be able to gain a whole lot of strength once it gets back over water again. We'll still have to watch it and see. The center of Mindy is expected to move across southeastern Georgia today and over the western Atlantic by late morning or early afternoon. It's only carrying about 35 mile an hour winds now with higher gusts. A little change in strength is forecast through tonight. Gradual weakening is expected tomorrow, and it should become a remnant low by Saturday. Pressure is about 1,004 millibars. Now, one that we got to watch is down there on right off the coast of Honduras again. This is where Mindy was about a week ago. Only Mindy, thankfully didn't affect the Gulf Coast. It was hit hard by Ida. But here's another one we got to watch now. The northern portion of the tropical wave over Western Caribbean is expected to emerge over the southern Bay of Campeche tomorrow or Saturday. Environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for some gradual development before the system moves into mainland Mexico early next week. We're talking about a 30% chance. Now, folks, one way or the other, once it gets to the Bay of Campeche, it's going to pick up some warm water and it's going to strengthen some. How much? We don't know. We got to watch it. But it's at the very worst, it's going to provide some rain and stuff along the Texas Gulf Coast, Louisiana Gulf Coast, where we don't need any rain. So you're going to have to watch for some more rain coming your way. We got to see how strong this thing gets and what it does. Obviously, last week's storm, Mindy, developed onto a tropical storm. So we're just going to have to watch this and see what happens. Now, Out in the Pacific, we got Olaf. Well, we were talking about this when it was a nothing. Well, now we got Olaf. Center of Tropical Storm Olaf is located about 150 miles southeast of Cabo San Lucas. It's moving toward the northwest at 6 miles an hour. That general direction is expected to continue through the day today and turn to the northwest by tonight, followed by a slower westward motion on Friday night and Saturday. The center of Olaf will approach southern Baja California Sur today, move near or over the southern part of the peninsula tonight and Friday, and then move westward away from land on Friday night and Saturday. Currently, the minimum sustained winds are about 65 miles an hour with higher gusts. Additional strengthening is forecast during the next day or so, and it's expected to be a hurricane sometime before the day's over today. But weakening should start relatively quickly. Currently, the pressure's dropped down to 993. You got storm force winds, tropical storm force winds, about 115 miles from the center. The government of Mexico has issued a hurricane warning for Baja California Sur from Los Barriles to Santa Fe. A tropical storm warning has been issued north of Santa Fe to Cabo San Lazaro and north to Los Barriles and San Evaristo. My Spanish stinks, folks. Sorry about that. But so, a lot of weather stuff to talk about today. Goodness gracious. Carnival. You know, we've been saying all along, man, if you don't like things, wait 5 minutes, it's going to change. Well, we've got another change. Carnival Cruise Line has updated its casino protocol across the entire fleet to ensure that guests remain protected while on board. The update was posted yesterday and will be in effect this weekend on every Carnival ship. It comes at a time when cruise lines are adapted to the fluid situation with new variants spreading. We're starting to see changes daily as the cruise industry works on keeping cruise ships sailing. The current casino protocols for Carnival ships. Casinos are for active players and their companions only. There is no gathering in the casinos otherwise. Seats at gaming tables and slots are reserved for players only. There is no smoking in the casino unless you are seated and playing. Smoking will not be permitted in the casino when it is closed. Guests will be expected to wear a face mask unless they are smoking or drinking their beverage. The casino bar is closed. If the casino bar is closed, drinks will be delivered to casino players by the bar staff. So, Carnival is tightening up the casino. And this is one, folks, my last cruise before the pandemic was the Sunrise. And the only thing I had to object to about the Carnival Sunrise was it's one of the Carnival ships, as many of them do, which to get anywhere, you have to go through the casino. I have no problem with that. But it was a heavy smokers casino, so you had to walk through awful smoke. And as a former smoker, that was revolting to me. But what would happen, people would go there to smoke, whether it was open or not, and there'd be whole gangs of people just sitting around grabbing a cigarette, not playing, so the Carnival's getting no benefit from the gambling, and non-smokers like me have to put up with the smoke, so that was awful. I'm not opposed to this at all. I almost wish they'd take smoking out of the casinos. Be all right with me. I realize smokers don't like that, but there's always a place up on the upper deck that they set aside for smoking that's outdoors. Always. So, all right. Holland America. They've been piecemealing their schedule on what ships are going to sail and what ships are not sailing and what ships are planning on sailing. Well, they announced that its full fleet will be back in service by spring of 22 in the late spring, actually in May. Nordam will start in March 2022, cruise in Japan. Oosterdam will begin cruising May 1st in the Mediterranean. Westerdam will return to service May 8th in Alaska. Uredam, Koningsdam, New Amsterdam, New Statendam, Rotterdam, and Zuiderdam have already returned to service or are slated to restart cruising by December of 21. As previously announced, Volendam and Zaandam will return in May of 22. So, you guys all know my feelings about Holland America. I fell in love with Holland America when I was on the Zuiderdam. I loved their food. I loved their service. I loved their staff. If I can get back to cruising, I promise you, one of the first ships I'll be on is another Holland American ship. I liked it a lot. All right, this is a Virtuoso. This is just a continuation of yesterday's story that I asked Pete about when I interviewed Pete yesterday. By the way, if you missed yesterday's show, the interview with Pete from on board the Sky Princess is well worth watching. It was a great interview. Pete did such a good job. He has really just found a complete home with what he's doing now and doing videos and getting on ships. And it was a good interview. All right, so this is kind of in response to that story. It's a sad story about the Virtuoso, and MSC was not being very transparent about it. But finally, my buddy Dave Monk of Ships Monks got a reply from MSC, which, I mean, the whole world had not been able to do for the best part of a week. Here's the reply from MSC. In connection with the current rise of COVID-19 cases in the UK, MSC Cruises has recently further strengthened its health and safety protocol on board the MSC Virtuoso during her UK sailings to manage the prevailing COVID-19 risks. This has included additional testing of both vaccinated and unvaccinated guests and crew, which has allowed us to identify suspect COVID-19 cases at the terminal during the pre-embarkation process and on board the ship. All have been identified and effectively managed in line with the protocol in cooperation with relative UK health authorities. This is yet another example of our protocol doing exactly what it was designed to do. The MSC Cruises Health and Safety Protocol is designed to keep our guests, crew, and the communities our vessels call on safe, and its measures are sufficiently robust in the face of the current circumstances. So says MSC, not sure how much of that to take because it was so long in coming from them. Social media complaints from passengers on last week's cruise continue. And there seems to be more and more of them out there if you go looking for them. So that cruise last week turned into a cluster, you know what. There was also a case reported on Celebrity Equinox last night by our buddies over at JJ Cruise that are on the Equinox. Celebrity is much more transparent, reported it immediately, started their protocols, let all their guests know, and all their guests became very comfortable with the situation and the handling of the situation, and were comfortable continuing on the cruise. Cruise. Not so with passengers on board the Virtuoso last week. So I think MSC needs a little schooling on how to handle situations like this. Let's face it, folks. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Everything in the cruise business is fluid. everything is subject to change. I'm all in favor of us getting back cruising. I'm very mindful of the health situations, not only on the ships. We want to keep the ships safe. We don't want another disaster like happened at the start of the pandemic. We want all of you guys to be safe out there on the cruise ships. Whatever protocols the cruise lines and the CDC, if you're sailing from the U.S., come up with to keep us safe and to continue cruising, I'm all in favor of, whatever they are. If you want to object to the protocols and the rules and regs, don't cruise. Wait till next year or the year after. If you're willing to be flexible, willing to follow the rules, and willing to change when the protocols don't necessarily meet what you want on a cruise vacation, then by all means, go for it. I would be going for it if I could. I'm hoping today to get some news that I'll be able to get back to cruising sometime soon, but I don't know that yet. So I don't want to be a buzzkill to anybody, but you guys that have cruises in the near future, and you know how much I want you to cruise because I want to be able to interview you on board the ships. Make sure you know about the current daily changes in the protocols for vaccination, for testing. Make sure you've got good insurance, whether it's Allianz or Generali or somebody. Make sure your insurance has a COVID rider. If you have like in travel insurance with a credit card or something, they have travel insurance, yes. It does not have the COVID rider with medical transport if necessary. You got to have that, folks. Figure that's if it's a couple $100 it costs you. You got to have a good insurance policy. Don't go without it, because something like happened on the Virtuoso could happen on any cruise ship. Happened on the Equinox. Yeah, obviously, a Celebrity handled it differently than MSC did, and everybody's comfortable to continue on with their cruise. If you're willing to do that, folks, and stay on top of it, because between now and when you cruise, if it's this weekend, next weekend, or a month from now, things are going to change. Just like Carnival changing the policies for the casinos, the smoking policies. We're going to see a lot of that. I got no problem with them changing if they're making things better for us. And yeah, I don't want to have to cruise with a mask on, but I don't want to go on a cruise and get sick. That's why I took the vaccinations. That's why I got the booster shot as soon as I could get it, because I don't want to get sick. I don't want to spread it to my sister and brother-in-law who are older than me or anybody else. So, and I saw something that said Florida thinks they'll be at herd immunity by the end of the month or something. I think Sharon posted something about that. I'd like to see how that is figured in. It would be wonderful it is. I'm worried to death about Florida. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. As you watch this, I'll be at the doctor, at the pulmonologist, and hopefully I'll find out if and when I can get on a boat again. That would be lovely. So for now, this is the Old Fat Travel Guy. I'll see everybody live tomorrow on Friday for Friday Travel and Cruise Industry News at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And always, we like a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing it. It'll help the channel out a lot. We'll see everybody tomorrow. This is the Old Fat Travel Guy. Later, y'all. I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.